As always, I want to take the time to thank you for taking your time to listen to what I have to say. And this is a video on my thoughts about Alex Jones. Now, keep in mind, this is my opinion. Your opinion may vary. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm just sharing my thoughts, and whether you resonate with them or not, that's up to you. But the first thing I want to say about Alex Jones is he is going to help awaken the people that know nothing about this stuff. So the first thing I want to say is, I used to watch Alex Jones in the beginning. I know lots of people have been quote-unquote awoken by one or several of his videos. So I'm not going to sit here and say Alex Jones is 100% evil or bad and you sit and watch him. Because especially if you don't know anything, he is a great entry-level person to listen to. So in my opinion, he is the kindergarten of the truther movement. He is very good at introduction, letting you know about things that you may not have been aware of. So like I said, even the beginning, back in like around 2011, I used to be subscribed to Alex Jones. I used to listen to him. But then what I found is, the more I started listening to his videos, the more angry I became, the more confused I became, the more frightened I became. And that's why I consider him fear porn. And I'll give you an example, and I'm going to give a quick shout out to a person that I'm subscribed to. His name is Corey C. And he doesn't make the same kind of videos that I do. He makes more satire videos, and he does do stuff about a wrestler that passed, the Ultimate Warrior. I love those. They're very inspirational, and I recommend it. And I'll post a link to his channel if you want to check it. But the video's not there. But he made a video because Corey lives in Texas, which obviously, if you know anything about Alex Jones, you know he lives in Texas. And Corey made a video, and I hope one day he finds it and puts it back up again. But I know it's out there because somebody else copied it. I just don't know where to find it. But he actually met Alex Jones at a store that Corey shops at. I don't know the name of it or anything like that. And later on, Alex Jones made a video talking about fluoride toothpaste and how he went to a specific store and said, look, things are changing. Things are more positive. Look at all the fluoride-free toothpaste. That's all you see in the aisle. And he gave this illusion that the store that he was filming this in, that's all they sold. And then Corey, living in Texas, knowing the exact place that he was at, because that's where he saw him at, he made a video exposing Alex Jones and a lie. Because what he showed was there was a specific section for the fluoride-free toothpaste. But he took the camera, walked down a couple of aisles, maybe about 10 or 11 aisles, to the regular area where they were selling the regular toothpaste. So Alex Jones was caught being dishonest. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't that aisle of fluoride-free toothpaste. But the video Alex is promoting, saying, look, stores are finally getting it. They're only selling this product. There's no regular toothpaste to be found. And he was not being honest. I hope one day he puts that video up again. Because obviously, without seeing that video, you can only base it on, well, do you believe what I say or not? And that's up to you. But this is what I want to talk about with Alex Jones and why I no longer follow him. He's been doing this for years, and that's why if you haven't seen the video I just made earlier, please check it out, because you'll see it'll make a little sense. I don't remember in the years that I used to watch him back between 2011 and roughly mid to end 2012. After that, I stopped watching him. I don't remember him ever talking about, being assassinated or potentially assassinated. And he's been talking about this stuff for years, and he gets paid a lot of money. And there's an old saying that I've said, and I'll say it here in case this is the first video of mine you've ever seen, is that if you take 99 pounds of ice cream and combine 1 pound of crap, what do you have? Well, you have 100 pounds of crap. So he, in my opinion, I believe is allowed to broadcast this information, because he'll give some truth, because you can't just spew lies nonstop because no one's going to follow you. So you have to give. It's like a drug dealer who wants to get somebody addicted. Sometimes you have to give them a little bit of free stuff and say, here, try it out, to get them to keep coming back. So there's a method to this. If you're going to be fleeced, you got to make sure you trick the people into saying, look, you could trust me. But remember, by their deeds you shall know them. And you notice on his site, he sells a lot of expensive products. And a lot of it is based on the fear-based information, or fear porn as I like to call it, on his channel. Now you're going to get some of my trolls saying things like, oh, well, you sell orgone pyramids, which is true. And I also sell organic soaps. But you've never heard me say a video saying, oh my God, if you don't buy an orgone pyramid, you're going to explode. I don't do that. I have a website. I actually teach people how to make them. And if people don't want to make them, they can purchase from me if they want. But I hardly even bring it up. But I don't base it on fear. And Alex Jones will talk about, oh, the fluoride is poison for you. It'll kill you. But lucky for you, I happen to sell this particular product that will save your life. So he makes a lot of money taking advantage of people's wanting to learn truth. And the problem is, he's almost the representative of us in this movement. And that's why you ever notice, like, for example, when he did that that debate with, what's his name? I forget, that British guy that was on CNN talking about the gun control about 2 years ago. And Alex Jones went to take him on. He acted like a total crazy buffoon. And then the regular people out there are like, wow, this is what it's like to be awakened? This crazy person? He represents those people? No wonder why most people consider us in this movement tinfoil hat wearing crazy people. Because he is the one, and like I showed the clip in the video from just earlier today, I mean, listen to how he speaks. It's like a really bad actor who's trying to over-dramatize things. And he's supposedly representing us. And I've seen video clips of Alex Jones where somebody will be doing a peaceful protest and speaking their mind, and all of a sudden he comes along with his loudspeaker and just forces his way in. That's not how you do this. So again, I'm going to say that Alex Jones is great for the beginner. He's Awakening 101. He'll have to give you some kind of truthful information. But all he talks about is death, destruction, demons, aliens coming to get you, and all these other things. Now, he doesn't talk about that very often, but he's always talking about World War III and FEMA camps. And this is not something that is going to lift you in a higher spirit. And I said to somebody, I was making a comment to somebody's response to somebody's comment earlier. There's a difference between talking about fearful things that are presented or a possibility than to live them as your daily life. And that's why I say things like there will never be a nuclear war. And I made a comment with somebody, and they said, well, you always talk about it being in an infinite universe with infinite possibilities, so how can you say there's never going to be a nuclear war? Well, if you go with the fact that that's true, in an infinite universe there are infinite possibilities, well, if you put your negativity in a certain direction, you bring life to it. So why would I want to say there's a nuclear war when in an infinite possibility, in an infinite universe, you can go in any direction you want? So why would I feed the negativity? All I'm saying is, when you get to a certain level, you get tired of Alex Jones. You get emotionally drained, and you can only live with so much fear. Now, that works for the newer people because they don't know any better. They're putting their trust in people like him. And again, he will give some truthful information because you can't flat out lie nonstop and have all those people listen to you. I think they allow him to be there for all those years because, in my opinion, and that's all it is my opinion, I could be 100% wrong, but that's a beautiful thing about opinions. You're allowed to make them, believe it or not. That I think they allow him to be on because, number one, it makes the regular people think we're all crazy because he supposedly represents us. Two, he spreads a lot of fear, which fear equals control. Because you ever wonder why all of a sudden now he's talking about being murdered? For the people who still listen to Alex Jones, before this whole thing with the Hillary Clinton back and forth debate, it's like a wrestling match. It's almost like watching the WWE when you have two people going back and forth talking about each other on camera. It's just, to me, it's a setup. And somebody made a good point. They might not even fake his quote-unquote death. They may even talk about, oh, he was kidnapped or he disappeared, and then all of a sudden he comes back and now he's this hero. So that was a good point. If you're the person that made that comment, please mention it now if you're listening, because I want to give you credit where credit is due. The problem is... Stephen O'Brien says, Alex Jones is sensational, but Bill Cooper was dangerous. Yeah, and that's the thing. Alex Jones says enough to where he's not giving real information to the point where it's awakening the masses. Because he will get a couple of 100,000 views, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not large amounts. But in the awoken community, people are looking for truth, looking for information. And a lot of people will gravitate to him because he does have a personality. To me, it's just, it looks like stage theater, how he's always over-dramatic. He's always trying to get you emotionally involved. You notice when I talk, for the most part, whether it's something that is potentially bad or potentially good, I stay consistent with my voice patterns. I'm not getting hysterical and trying to over-dramatize it. To me, he seems like an actor that is over-exaggerating things to get people emotionally involved. And obviously it works, because, I mean, if you look at the video I just made, just for the fact I used the name Alex Jones, look how many views this video has gotten, that video. So my thing is, you can listen to whoever you want. I'm not here to tell anybody how to think. I am just voicing my opinion of what I see based on just my own thoughts. And that's okay. You don't have to agree. If you like Alex Jones and you think he's the best thing since sliced bread, and he helps you, then that's great. But in my opinion, like I said, he's like the kindergarten of the truther movement. He is great at entry level to get people to realize there's something going on. So there is some benefit to Alex Jones. But if you watch him for too long, you'll notice he talks nothing but nuclear wars, and how the government is going to come and murder you, and how they're going to kidnap you, and how all these things are bad, bad, bad. And what happens? It makes you scared. And what do? You go run out to buy a bunch of emergency food and stuff like that. Because thanks to people like Alex Jones, you know, back in the days of 2012, I was this paranoid, delusional person. I was very angry because I didn't know what was going on. And you listen to him and it gets you mad and you get pissed off and you don't know which way to go. So you do start to act crazy. And then when you start to realize that pretty much you have control of everything in your life, as long as you just start believing in yourself and you don't listen to other people. Now, you can listen to what they have to say, but if you follow somebody blindly to the point where they can do no wrong, you're being led. When I listen to people, I listen to hear what I can get out of it. I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, just because I'm listening to this person or this woman or this man or this whatever, that I'm going to believe everything they say. I'm going to take from it what benefits me and what resonates with me. Listen to everyone and follow no one. Be your own person. That's one of the reasons why we need presidents and leaders, because people need to be led for some reason instead of doing things on their own. So if you want to vote. If you want to listen to Alex Jones, by all means, please do. But pay attention to it with an open mind. Don't think he can do no wrong. Don't think that with anybody, because even I make mistakes. The difference is I'm not purposely trying to mislead people. Now, I could say something you don't resonate with or don't agree with, or absolutely might think in your perspective it's crazy. But I'm not making up a story to try and mislead people so I can profit off of their fear or their ignorance. And that's what a lot of these people do. I don't trust him. And that's why I think this is a setup, because why would Hillary Clinton waste her time talking about somebody like Alex Jones when he will not affect her ability to become president one iota? And yet she calls him out specifically, and now he's responding like a WWE wrestling match before a match, how they trash talk each other on camera. And he's now all of a sudden talking about, I'm doing this, you know, I'm not afraid of death or being murdered. How many videos did you see in his lifetime on his channel talking about stuff like this? Why all of a sudden now? So, my advice to people, in my opinion, is don't waste your time with people like Alex Jones. Or at least if you listen to it from an observational standpoint. Don't listen saying, I believe everything he says. I'm going to listen to everything he says. Because that is how they mislead people and trick people. Because they cannot come at you as an enemy. Because if somebody wants you to follow them, they're not going to be vicious. They're not going to lie. They're going to pretend to be your best friend. They're going to pretend to give you everything that you want. So you will follow them. By their deeds you shall know them. So if you want to listen to Alex Jones, listen to what he has to say. But if pay attention to it from an observational point of view, you will see, wait a minute, he does talk a lot about nuclear war. He does talk a lot about being kidnapped and all these negative things and possibly being murdered and shot and imprisoned and nothing but death and destruction and famine and poison. It's enough to drive you crazy. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch mainstream media news anymore. There's a reason why they're always promoting negativity, because that creates the consciousness of where you are. And that's why when I talk about things like in an infinite universe, there are infinite possibilities. Due to free will, you can go in any direction you want, but they can guide you. So if you're always scared, if you're always angry, and if you're always in these lower vibrations, it's easier to distract you and direct you in a certain way. Because if you want to listen to anybody out there who's trying to sell you a better life, and you listen to everything they say, and you say 100% they are always 100% right, guess what? You're being misled, because no person is perfect. And that goes for people like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or any of the next people that come along. They're snake oil salesmen trying to sell you their way of life so they could profit off of you. Don't blindly follow anybody. And this is a good one. This is Laudus Veritas Invictus. I guess that's Latin, so forgive me if I'm getting it wrong. He says, I don't blindly follow AJ by any means. I research anything and everything somebody wants me to hear. That is exactly the best way to go. If something's presented to you, there's a reason for that, because like I've said in previous and past videos, I haven't said this in a while, the universe is made up of electricity and magnetism. That's why you ever notice whatever energy you put out is the kind of situations in your life that seems to constantly be attracted to you. So there's a reason why they're always talking about negativity and trying to scare the living daylights out of you. Because you put that energy out, it brings it back, and they're directing you to go in a certain pattern. And I'm going to read a couple of the comments. Stephen O'Brien says, I have a suspicion that they are going through these motions in order to replicate an experience that mystery religions use to do with their initiates on a mass level, except on a mass level. Who knows? The problem is, if we even have to think about these things, there's always a reason why. And that's what I tell people to be careful about. Don't listen to anyone blindly. I don't mind when people disagree with what I say. What I have a problem with is the people that have to come on and insult me. Because just imagine if you had your child at a school, and the teacher is teaching something to your child, and the child asks what may be a silly question, and the teacher goes, oh, you stupid idiot, that's totally wrong. What the hell's wrong with you? Do you see how that's a bad thing? So, despite what some people, one of those minor people, my stalkers will say, it's like, oh, you don't like it when people disagree. No, I don't like it when people have to insult and attack. You can disagree. You can say, Chris, I watched your video. I don't necessarily agree with your points, and here's why. Why is that so complicated? But you notice throughout this lifetime, with all this negativity, and all of our freedoms being taken away more and more, it's getting us so angry that because we can't go yell at Alex Jones personally, we can't go yell at Obama personally, you can't go and yell at Hillary Clinton or Trump personally, we take it out on people like me and others and our own fellow man. That's the whole divide and conquer. And that's why I keep telling these trolls that follow me, it's like, listen, focus on the goal. Keep your eye on the ball. Attacking me, if I decide to shut my channel down, all that does is hurts people that cared enough to listen. I've had people tell me I've kept them from committing suicide by listening to my videos. You want to stop that for your own ego? We need to focus on who is the enemy. So, I don't want to go too crazy on this. All I have to say is, in my opinion, you should not believe everything Alex Jones says. I really believe there's going to be something set up here. I could be 100% wrong. And my thing is, if I'm wrong, so what? Nothing happens. But if I'm right, and all of a sudden you see in the newspaper a couple of weeks from now, Alex Jones was assassinated or murdered, or his body has disappeared or whatever, that's a little suspicious, don't you think? So it's okay to disagree, but until we learn to speak like adults, that's why one of my stalkers, and I'll give him the credit of the fact of his name is The Unit, and I'll leave it at that. I mean, the fact that he's got a name call on me when I haven't talked to him in years just shows the inability to become adults anymore. And to divide and conquer how easily it works. Because, Mr. Unit, I have no problem with you. I could care less about you. I haven't thought about you in years. You call my house. You still have my phone number. You come on my live show and say nasty things which didn't see the light of day. Grow up. I mean, dude, you're like over almost 40 years old, or at least 40 if not more. And considering how you used to work for the government, no wonder why you have a problem with somebody like me. And I'm not going to say his name because I'm not giving him any credit. And I blocked him. But my point is, until we can learn to discuss things like individuals, like adults, like human beings, how are we ever going to get past all of these divide and conquer scenarios that they put? And I think, in my opinion, Alex Jones is another divide and conquer. It's to make us seem like we're all crazy, make us seem we're all paranoid. He gives us some truthful information, but then he scares us to death. And then you go out and buy all the fear porn stuff. You buy all the filtered water things. You buy all the food. You buy all those foods that last for 30 years. Why? Because they're more expensive, and he makes a profit off of that. When you can go to a regular grocery store and buy regular cans, and they will last for the same 30 years if you don't open them. They're cheaper. So there's nothing wrong with saving food and storing food. I've told people to do it. But don't do it thinking that tomorrow you're going to wake up and find out there's a nuclear war, there's governments coming to come shoot you in the head. Do it because, you know, there might be a snowstorm, or you might get sick one day and you're so sick you can't get out of bed for a week. It would be very handy if you had food in the house and you didn't have to worry. So it doesn't always have to be an end-of-the-world scenario. But I tell people, don't waste your money on those 30-year food programs, because you'll spend 500 times more on those when you could go to a regular grocery store, buy cans on sale, and go store them. Or buy a vacuum sealer and seal your food and put it away. My thing is, it's the same thing, only I'm saving you money, and I'm telling you just do it because it's good to have extra. Better to have too much than not enough. But he talks about, well, if you don't store this food and you don't get this long food, you never know, with it all contaminated, you could die and you could all that. We got to stop that. We keep feeding into these things. So, again, I'm stating my opinion. You don't have to agree, and it's perfectly fine if you don't. But if you have to insult me because I hurt your feelings because you're so in love with Alex Jones, you can't see anything wrong that he does, well, then you don't have to be here. Go watch him. Go live the rest of your life paranoid and afraid. Or you could stay away from the fear porn, realize that you have the decision to do anything in your life, and like I said before, in an infinite universe with an infinite possibilities, why choose the negative path? Now, I point out things that may be negative because that's just life. Negativity is a way to show you what you don't want. You know, you don't know if you like a food or not until you taste it. When you taste it, if it's disgusting, you'll say, okay, I don't want this anymore. But you'll never know until you try it. So negativity is a way of saying, here, is this something you want? And William West says, but you're not screaming, making me feel stupid. Well, because no one is stupid. Why would I want to make anybody feel stupid? There are different levels. If I am in college and I'm speaking to a person that just got into kindergarten, they're not stupid. We're just on different levels. You notice how so many of these people that talk about this stuff, they feel like they're so much more superior than you? I'm the same human being as Alex Jones, as Steve Martin, Robin Williams, Marco Polo, William Shakespeare, and Mr. John Smith down the street. We're all the same. Why are other people in this world, these leaders and these billionaires and these corporate owners, think they're more superior because they have extra pieces of paper? They are the same humans as we are. Unless you believe that whole reptilian thing. That's whatever. You're allowed to agree with whatever you want. And yeah, I know it was a joke. I saw it for what it was. But it is true. There are plenty of people where you feel like you're almost stupid for not understanding things. My point is, be your own person. Stop giving in to fear. Now, you don't have to follow my advice. If fear is what motivates you to do something good, then there's a reason for it. But don't see it as negative. There's a reason why you don't put your hand on the stove. Because you know if it's hot, it will burn you. But the only way you know that is at one point, you touched the stove and burned your hand, so you knew what it felt like. So people are always saying, oh, you can't talk about negative. If you don't research history, you're doomed to repeat it. So if I didn't realize that touching the stove would burn my hand, I would do it again. Or I might do it worse. Negativity is a way to say, here's an option. In an infinite universe, here's a possibility. Do you want it? And when people go around saying, oh, this is inevitable, or this is foretold, or this is written in stone. I love that saying, written in stone. Like it can't be erased. You can't chisel out something written in stone. If no one touches it, yes, it'll stay there forever. But you can chisel it out. So in other words, something written in stone will, will only stay there unless you do something about it. So my thing is, why put your energy into things that are negative? You can do whatever you want if you put the effort into it. If you put no effort, is there any surprise that you're not getting what you want? If you do nothing but listen to people like Alex Jones and all these other people, is there any surprise why you're always angry? Why you're always paranoid? Why you're always looking over your shoulder? Or maybe that you have more control than you really think. And believe me, I've been called every name under the book. I've been called a shill. I love it. I've been called a shill for Hillary. I've been called a shill for Trump. I've been called a shill in general, which makes no sense. And people base it on maybe one video they've seen. All I know is that my job here is to spread my truth. If it resonates with you, great. If not, that's fine. But I am doing this because I care about more than just myself. And I've listened to Alex Jones. I was subscribed to him. And when I stopped listening to people like that with the fear porn, I wasn't as angry anymore. I wasn't as paranoid anymore. I wasn't thinking like everything was out to get me. 99 pounds of ice cream, mix in 1 pound of crap, you have 100 pounds of crap. And that's why all of those people, they'll tell you a lot of good things because they have to give you some good things to get you in, get you addicted, get you hooked. But then it's that misinformation is why they're still there. So I'm going to end this video now. We have a large amount of people listening, and I appreciate that. If you've never seen my videos before, please don't base my videos and who I am based on one video. Watch a bunch of them. Share these and have discussions with people on YouTube or on your social networks. It's time we stop fighting. Now, that's not always easy, because if you talk to an irrational person like the unit, that no matter what you say, he's going to say nasty things, those people you just walk away from. But my thing is, until we get dialogues going, until we can have conversations like adults, until we can stop the divide and conquer, and we can get rid of the fear and realize that even if there is fear, it's a choice. You could see it for what it really is, and it's a teaching lesson. I mean, you never appreciate a good summer until you've had a nasty winter. You don't always have to see it as yin and yang. There are choices in this world. And once you start to understand that, then you realize you actually have more control than they lead you to believe. The reason that governments want to take care of you is so they can profit off of you. And they make it seem like you have no choice. You're not going to be safe unless we're there to protect you, even though they cause all the problems that they're supposedly protecting you from. And we keep falling for it over and over and over. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So what you do with this video is up to you. I just appreciate the fact that you took the time to listen to it and you actually said some very positive things. We're getting more and more of a dialogue, and that's a good thing. So let's keep that up. So hit subscribe, hit like, share this on your social networks, get a dialogue going. And again, if you want to follow Alex Jones, that's up to you. I'm sharing my opinion. You may not agree, but at least you know I'm giving you the opportunity to share what I truly feel and not just pander to my audience or tell you what I want to hear, what you want to hear, or have an agenda. Nobody's paying me to say things. Nobody's telling me what to say. I'm not reading off of somebody's cue card. I'm speaking from the heart and speaking from the mind, and that's my own individualism. You need that as well. So thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day. Check out my other videos. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Have a great day, everybody.